Hey guys, going to be going over another strat today for making currency in Path of Exile. This is a strat that I really enjoy running. It's similar to other strats that have been presented on this in the past. It's basically my take on running Guardian rotations along with essences. Palstrom made a video on this going over a very similar strat running Conqueror map rotations, but I'm going to be showcasing it today running Elder map rotations. And the reason for that is because right now, at least at the current prices on Faustus, the Elder fragments are actually the most expensive fragments that aren't the Uber Elder fragment or some of the Uber Boss fragments. So I really like this because, running through, you grab all of your essences, and then at the end, you kill the boss, you get the Elder fragment, and each of them are selling from anywhere from about, I'd say, 38 to about 45, 50 chaos. At this point in the league, it is kind of far along in the league, but when I was running this strat about 2-3 weeks ago, kind of, only about a month into the league, at that point, they were still the more expensive fragment as well. So it's held up pretty well in terms of the price, and I think it's a really nice strat to run through and make some currency. I really like essences. They're one of the first currency sort of mechanics that I started doing to make currency when I started playing Path of Exile. I really enjoyed it. So it's something that I have a little bit of history with myself and really enjoy doing. So I thought I'd just kind of bring my take on this strat to a video today. So as I mentioned, we are running Elder rotations. It's going to be 4 maps at a time, and basically the whole point of this is we're running it with the keystone here, destructive play. So as we get to the end, we're basically doing that to, on top of get the Elder fragment, we're also going to get some maps. But the more important thing here is the chance at getting the chisels. The Maven chisels I can drop from inside the maps themselves, and then also from running the rotation and the invitation at the end once you witness all 4 maps really adds a lot to the profits in this, because some of the Maven chisels are just really, really expensive. I think the pack size chisels do pretty well. Currency, Scarab chisels, all of those go for a decent amount. This is the Atlas tree that I'm running. I'll put a link to it on PoE Planner in the description. But it's a standard essence tree, taking all of the essence nodes. We do not want, for this strat, crystal resonance, because we are going to be corrupting our essences to obviously get the 4 high tier corrupted essences. I also don't take any remnant of corruption chance, mainly for the reason that primarily I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's better to just buy them and then have the more chances at corrupting the essences for the ones that you want to corrupt into the highest tier essences. But on top of that, in the setup for the Scarabs that we're running, we are running an adaptation. So I really like being able to transfer those essences over, and having a bunch of essences on there that you'd like to corrupt, and then having a remnant on there and not allowing you to corrupt it to get a chance at the highest tier essences feels kind of bad. So I really don't like running that. For the Scarabs themselves, as I mentioned, we're running a calcification. We're running a stability, so that way we have a better chance of upgrading the essences, and ascent, so that way we always have one with the highest tier. 1 adversaries, so we get 8 additional essences on the map. There's going to be 4 packs with mirrored monsters. And then the adaptation Scarab, as I mentioned, I really like running it. There are strats where you don't run calcification and you don't run adaptation, or you do run calcification and you don't run adaptation. I think for the cost, the adaptation is really great. It just feels awesome when you corrupt an essence and you get one of the highest tiers, like a horror essence, delirium, insanity, hysteria. You go to a new essence and one of those corrupted tiers is already on there without, the essence being corrupted. And even, maybe having one of the purple essences that you can then additionally corrupt to get even more corrupted essences on there. I've killed some essence monsters and, 3 corrupted tier essences have dropped from it just because it has a chance to move that corrupted essence over to another monster, which feels really good. And it's really nice when you go to a monster and you already have some corrupted essences on there without having touched the monster at all yet. So it's pretty cool, and it feels pretty nice. In terms of the investment, I'll just go over really quickly a little table that I made here. The 20 Scarabs of each. The most expensive one being the calcification. I bought them at 38 chaos each, so they cost me just under 4 divines. The total for the Scarabs was just under 5 divines, and I'm doing this in a 20 map set. So there's going to be 5 rotations. 5 times we are doing the Maven Witness, and 5 invitations that we're going to be running. The Elder maps, I bought 20 of them. I paid about 20 chaos each. They've gone up a little bit from the last time I was running this strat. When I was running this about 3-4 weeks ago, I was paying anywhere from even as low as like 10 to 12 chaos per map. So they've gone up a little bit, but it will still be very profitable. The Exalts, this is mainly for when we're running the invitation. After we've witnessed the full rotation of the Elder Slayers, you basically want to roll the invitation, and I'll have a little demo of this once I get to the first invitation. Basically want to roll it until it's 5 mod and then exalt it to get 6 mods, because you want to run the invitations with at least, I would say, I think 70 or 80 quant, because then you're guaranteed pretty much, I think 5 or 6 Crescent Splinters, which then add up to get the Maven Writs, which also contribute into the profits of why we're running this and why we're doing witnessing rotations. It all adds to the profits. Remnants of Corruption, I bought 100. I might use all 100. I might use slightly less. You will get some essences, obviously, even without taking those 2 nodes for the chance at remnants on the essence themselves. You will get some back over the course of doing the maps. So I would say 100 budget for 20 maps, using about 5 per map is a safe budget. Sometimes you'll use more, sometimes you'll use less. So it averages out, I think, to about 4 to 5 per map. The total investment here for the maps with the remnants, 960 chaos in total. It was about 1912 chaos, so just under 10 divines, about 9.5 divines investment for the 20 maps for the whole strat. I'm going to be tracking all of the essences that I get for running the 20 maps, as well as all the fragments and the Crescent Splinters and the Writs and the chisels as well. Once I get those, I will add them in, and then we'll go over at the end of the video all of the profit for the items that we got running these maps. In terms of setting up the maps themselves, you obviously want one of each so you can run the correct rotation. In terms of buying them, you can buy all of one map, so you don't technically have to buy them as sets, because what you can do, and you'll see I have a couple extra maps there at the bottom that were left over while I was doing the prep. What you can do is you can horizon them into a layout or the Elder Guardian that you want to run, so you can interchange them. So you're not really stuck in having all of one type of Elder Guardian, so that way you can mix and match and just get what you need in order to be able to run everything. In terms of layouts, now obviously when you're running an Essence strat, typically a really common one is to just run Strand, because it's a very linear map. You don't really have any chance at missing any of the essences, because you're essentially going in a straight line and you'll see all of the essences as they go on the map. The issue with running any type of Conqueror or Elder Slayer or Influence map is you don't really have a lot of control over the layout that you're doing, but there are some decent layouts for the tiers of the maps that you're running. So as you buy these maps, some of them will be natural T16s, and they will have good layouts on them. So for example, this map that I bought here with the Constrictor, this dropped or was sold to me as a tier 16 with a Strand on it. So obviously I'm not going to Horizon Orb that. Strand is a great layout. I want to run that. If you are buying the maps and you get some pretty bad layouts, they will come as either a tier 14, 15, or 16 map. I've seen some things where you can Harbinger Orb them all up to T16 and then roll them to just get Canyon. Canyon's one of the better layouts for this. However, I really don't like the chance of breaking the map into the beachhead and you just lose the map completely. So you can, if you want, Harbinger the tier 14s up to tier 15 because there are actually a decent amount of tier 15s that are good layouts for running this strat. But typically, when I am horizon orbing these, I'm looking for, on my tier 14s, I'm looking for Peninsula. Temple, I don't really like. Cold River is okay. I don't typically like it. I'll avoid to run it if I can. Flooded Mine is just a mess. There's so many different lanes and crevices. It's just not fun to run. And Maze is not great to run either. Tier 15 actually has a lot of really good maps and really good layouts to run these on. Wasteland is okay. I'd say it's probably one of the worst. Along with where's the other one here? No, Waste Pool is good, and Palace and Wasteland I don't really like. However, Ashen Wood is great. It's essentially just a big circle. You'll see all the essences as long as you kind of go in a circle up and down. You'll find everything. Waste Pool is not too bad either. And Underground River is basically a straight line. It turns a little bit, but it's all one road, so you won't miss any essences there. It is, however, a little bit of a long map, so if you're not into that, you can maybe stick with Waste Pool and Ashen Wood. And then for tier 16, obviously Canyon here is going to be the best one. Everything else isn't really that great, but there are only 4 natural tier 16 maps, so rolling into Canyon isn't too bad if you're horizon orbiting into those. Additionally, for the map setup, and this is something that I think is really, really worth it when you're running the Calcification Scarab. A lot of the times I'll see an Essence video strat and they will be running Calcification and they'll just say, oh, because it's Essences, it doesn't scale with Quant, it doesn't scale with, whether it's 8 mod or whether there's no mods on the map, the Essences don't care. But what I think is absolutely vital to getting more out of the maps that you're running is to roll your maps for this specific modifier, increased number of rare monsters, because all of the natural rare monsters on the map are going to be imprisoned in essences. So this mod will roll anywhere from 20 to 30%. Any roll is going to be a benefit to your map. So when you're rolling them, all you really have to do is in your highlight, just type in NU for the regex for number of monsters. And I like to roll them so that way they have increased number of rare monsters on them. I'm not a fan of running my essences just on, scoured no mod maps. If you want to scour them and then alch them until you get the increased number of rare monsters, or alteration spam until you get the roll for the number of rare monsters. But I think it is completely worth it to roll for increased number of rare monsters. I've done some tests myself on Strand, running it with increased number of rare monster mod versus without. Some maps without, I would get anywhere from like 12 to 13 essences. And then with that increased number of rare monsters roll on there, I'm getting anywhere from like 16 to 18. So it's really helping, and it's really just going to extract more value out of the maps. If you're running Calcification, you should be rolling for increased number of rare monsters. I think that is something that is non-negotiable. Okay, so I'll do a demo of one of the maps. Basically, we're just going to put all of our Scarabs in. I'll grab all of the maps here. I will get them into the map device. We'll run a demo. I like to do them in this order specifically just because it's the way that the Twisted Invitation is laid out. Purifier, Constrictor, Enslaver, Eradicator. And on our map device craft, we are going for Essence. Make sure I have the correct tree. And we will go in and do a map. Turn my map on, get my endurance charges, go in. Oh, what I actually forgot to do was bring some remnants with me to corrupt the essences. I have my 100 here. Also completely blank essence tab so I can track what I get over the course of these 20 maps. All of the leftover essences I had, I just left in a different tab. And as we get essences to corrupt, we will show which ones we want to corrupt. But essentially, it is going to be the purple essences, or you can remember the acronym MEDS, M-E-D-S, Misery, Envy, Doubt, I think it is, the D, and Scorn. Once we see one of those, we want to corrupt it at a chance of getting the corrupted tier essences. As you do more of it, you will basically be kind of conditioned to see the essence and know whether you want to corrupt it or not. See, we have Scorn here, so we're going to corrupt that and get a Delirium essence, so that is great. I have the corrupted tier essences on the Tink on my filter, just because I like it that way. I like hearing Tinks. You don't have to if you don't want to. Now we have an Envy. We're going to corrupt that into a Hysteria. And this is actually a great example here of why I like running the Adaptation Scarab. So I'm not going to loot what popped out of that essence and just make sure that these monsters don't kill me. So we corrupted it, and we have a Hysteria, a Spite, and a Dread. So the Dread is one of the essences that we want to corrupt if we see it on another essence monster. So in this case, we have a 2 out of 3 chance of basically putting one of these essences on another essence. So if we walk up to another essence at one point and see a Hysteria on there, we know it came from this essence monster. A Dread can be a natural essence that just shows up, so we can't, 100% confirm that it came from this. But if it moves over, that just means we have another shot at corrupting another essence to get us the essences that we want, essentially, which are the corrupted ones. So, through here. Again, I'm going a little bit slower than I typically would. The Dread is here. Did it come from that essence beforehand? Who knows? But we just corrupted here, and we got a Horror, and then we got another Dread, and I believe, yep, we got another Dread there. So we have a chance of moving one of those over. Hopefully it does move over. But this is just why I really love using the Adaptation Scarab. The Elder boss will be over there. Portal goes up. This is also kind of why I like Ashen Wood, or even Canyon is actually pretty good for this. Because you can kind of walk through, and there is a little bit of an animation that the Elder needs to do to kind of beat the current map boss, so that way you can have the portal to go and fight the Elder Guardian. But if you are in a map like this, where there's some essences around the boss, you can basically just do your map as normal, and the animation will go through, saving you a little bit of time. So these maps can take a little bit of time, depending on how many essences show up on the map, sort of what you're doing. I'm going a little bit slower here than I normally would. Just essence monster. The other thing about the Adaptation Scarab is there is a line on the Scarab that says essence monsters will get increased difficulty and reward for each prior essence, or as it moves it over, as you put the essences, they just get a little bit more difficult. I have a pretty good character. I have something like 200, 250 million DPS. Decent tank, not great tank. I'm not using Ralakesh to make sure that my endurance charges are fully up all the time. I just do a weapon swap, pop my Daring Cry. But some of these essence monsters can get pretty tanky and do a lot of damage. So need a decent enough character to make sure that you're not getting one shot. But yeah, some of these essence monsters with a lot of these essences, you can see that chunking down quite high. Some of them can get pretty difficult. So here we have a Scorn and a Dread on there, so we're going to corrupt this. Oh, we hit, so it's fine. Just check over here. We got all the essences. 5 monsters are left. Go in. Vault. Wait for the animation. I like to put a portal. Oh, no, there's no portals here. I gotta put the other one. The Elder Guardians basically have 3 phases. you're going to chunk them down, and then you're going to get teleported the second time, teleported the third time. One thing to remember. So that voice line that you just heard there from Maven, time to up the stakes, you want to hear that voice line before you finish killing the Elder Slayer. If you have a really high DPS character and you kill the boss before the Maven says that line, she will not spawn the additional bosses for destructive play. That's happened a few times for me where I just want to go really, really fast. Now I tend to kind of restrain myself and wait until I hear the voice line. Then I know the additional bosses are going to be spawned, and then you can clear the rest of the map. Okay, so we're gonna go through there. We got map drop, we got our fragment, put everything through here, and we got 3 corrupted essences. On average, I would say the last time I ran this in a bigger bulk, about 50 maps, I was averaging, I think, about 4 corrupted essences per map, and that was with the adaptation Scarab. Just for the chance that, you know, you corrupt something and it moves one of those corrupted essences over. I've done maps where I've gotten up to 9 corrupted essences in one map. Some maps you'll see, you know, 1 or 2, but I think it averages out to about 4, between 3 and 4, I would say. So that's kind of a good metric to go off of for why I like using the adaptation Scarab. Okay, so I'm going to continue running the rest of these 20 maps, and I will check in when I'm ready to do my first invitation, just to show how I'm rolling the invitation, and then I will check in at the end and see what we profited from these 20 maps. All right, guys, checking in after the first 4 maps here, and the Twisted Invitation is ready to run. Quick look at the Essence tab, how it looks after the first 4 maps. I've used 22 Remnants of Corruption, so I'm just about slightly over what I estimated I would need for the maps. I said about 5 Remnants per map. I'm using just over, it's about 5.5. But the big thing here, we have 26 Corrupted Tier Essences over the first 4 maps. That is averaging 6.5 Corrupted Essences per map. I think that's a little bit high. We'll see what it ends up being after the full 20 maps, but we're on pace for, you know, a decent amount of Corrupted Tier Essences, which just means more profit at the end of the day. Okay, as we see, the 4 maps there have been witnessed for the invitation. To run that, we go over to Kirak, click on him, invitation the Twisted. What I will do is I will alch it. I will see what the item quant is. This rolled with 4 mods. I don't care. I will basically scour and scour and alch until I have 5 mods. We can see here, this rolled with 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it actually rolled 6. So that's pretty good. Sometimes it will do that and it will roll at 6, and you won't have to exalt it. So you save yourself, you know, whatever the cost of an X is, you know, 35, 40 chaos, whatever it is. As you can see here, the most it can have is 6. So I will run this. It does have an LE reflect. That's fine for me. I'm using Awakened Wedge, so I can't take reflected damage, and my Ascendancy lets me not take reflected physical damage. My Merc probably will die. Oh, I forgot to do his ring, so that he has lower res. My Merc probably will die. That's fine. I'm just going to put these in there for rolling the rest of my invitations later. So, not a big deal. The Merc is probably just going to proof himself once he hits one of them. We'll see. I don't want to Frost Sling or Leap Slam myself, because only my Smite stops me from taking reflected LE damage. Sometimes I will Leap Slam into packs, and because I have a lot of Fire, Cold, and Lightning on those, I will kill myself. So it's not great. Okay, this is actually great. We got 4 Proliferation Chisels, which do pack size. I think that is one of the more expensive ones. We also got 5 Crescent Splinters. Usually you will get, if you're running it 6 mod, and that one I think was 78 quant, you will get a minimum of 5 splinters. Sometimes you will get 6. I've seen 6 sometimes, but the minimum you will get if you're running it 6 mod with at least I think 70 quant will be 5 splinters. So let's just see how much these chisels are right now. Yeah, 95. Okay, so on the insta buy is 95. So we made nearly 400 chaos off of that one rotation, which is crazy because I think our investment for this was about 1900 chaos. So that's about 1/5 ish of the investment back just off of that one invitation. So you can see how profitable this can be. We'll check in at the end of the 20 maps to see what the final profit is. All right, guys, checking in. We are done with the 20 maps. Let's look at the loot, starting with the Essence tab over here on the left. I picked up everything from Screaming Essence and onwards, and I upgraded everything to Deafening. I can't be bothered to sell any of the lower tier essences, so everything was upgraded to Deafening. The big ticket essences, obviously the corrupted ones, we ended up getting a total of 79 over those 20 maps. So right about the 4 per map average that I went over at the beginning from running this. We unfortunately didn't keep that crazy pace at the beginning from those first 4 maps where I think we were averaging 6.5 corrupted essences per map. It did slow down a little bit over the rest of the rotations, but we did average those 4 corrupted essences per map. In the inventory over here, just some of the maps and other notable loot that we got. I'll go to a spreadsheet where I tracked everything and all of the prices and all of the final profits in a second. We got 3 tier 17 maps, 2 synth maps, 1, 2, 5, 6 Conqueror maps. We got 5 Elder Guardian maps, 3 Shaper maps, 1 Orb of Conflict, the Procurement Chisel and the Proliferation Chisel, and a Essence monster actually ended up dropping a Awakening Scarab. So I'm going to include that as well because it did come off of the Essence monster, and the Scarab that we were using does give the Essence monsters some more reward. So if it played into effect for that, hopefully it did. So we're going to include it in the overall profit. Going over now to where I tracked all of the loot. Over here on the left is all of the essences. Just to make a note, the price that I put in the chaos column was, at the time that I made this table, basically what I clicked on for Faustus, and whatever value was there for the first available buy order that you could instantly sell is what I put in the column there. So for the regular essences, the price probably won't fluctuate too much, but for the other loot on the right hand side, some of these prices might actually be slightly lower than what you can sell everything for. So we'll get to the other loot in a second, which has some of the more expensive items. But in total for essences, factoring in all of these being Deafening, we made 7,267 chaos in essences, which totals to about 36 divines. My divine to chaos ratio, I'm going to assume that it is 200 to 1. It is late in the league, so it is starting to drop, but at the height of the league, it was about between, anywhere between 200 to, I think it peaked out at about 215, 216 chaos. So I felt like at this point, 200 to 1 chaos to divine was a good ratio to stick with. So in total, we had 36 divines and essences. Moving over to the other loot, we had all of the fragments that we picked up over the various maps. The extra ones that we got can drop from doing the Maven invitation. So we got some extra fragments through there. Ended up getting in total 25 Crescent Splinters for a total of 2 Maven Writs and then the 5 left over. I did say, I think at the beginning, where you're running the invitation in higher quant, you can see up to 6 Crescent Splinters. I feel like in the past I have seen 6, but in this case I only got a maximum of 5, so maybe 5 is the maximum that you can get running it over 70 quant. I was running some invitations at 90 quant, a couple of them over 80, and I still only saw a maximum of 5 splinters. So that was a little unfortunate, but we still got a decent amount. And then all of the maps that I showed previously, the T17s, I valued those at about 30 chaos each. The synth maps 30 as well. The Conqueror maps right now are actually selling for a good amount, so I put those at 40 chaos. The Elder maps, basically the same that I paid for them to run the strat. Shaper maps are really cheap, only 7 chaos. The procurement chisels are unfortunately 20 chaos each. They're the least expensive one. We did hit the big one on the first rotation, on the witness that we did, and then we got the other 4 through map boss drops at the end of the maps. Unfortunately, they ended up being the cheap one, but that's just how it goes sometimes. The 1 Orb of Conflicts that we got from the Witness invitation as well, and then the Awakening Scarab that we got off of one of the Essence monsters. In total here, we got 3,454 Chaos for a total of 17.3 Divines. Totaling everything up, our investment for the strategy was 1,912 chaos, about 9.5 divines. In total revenue, we got 10,721 chaos, so about 53 divines. When it's all said and done, subtracting our investment from the profit, we got a total of 44 divines in profit running this strat. So I'm actually incredibly happy with that. It went really quick, it went really smooth, and it's a pretty nice return on what we put in. And then for those that care, the divines per hour, I timed 1 full rotation of 4 maps and then the witness invitation at about 15 minutes. So in total, it'll take you, about 75 minutes, so 1.25 hours to run everything if you're going relatively quick, for a 35 divine per hour number at the end of it. I think this is a great return for how quick this strat is to run. The setup and the prep can take a little bit of time depending on how many maps you want to do. Horizon orbing the maps to make sure you have 1 of each Elder Guardian, so that way you obviously can run the rotation, as well as getting the layout you want, and then rolling them for the increased number of rare monsters. Can take a little bit of time, but as you can see, we're getting a pretty decent profit from everything that we ran. It's a pretty quick strat to run, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been really fun running this strat. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video and can make some good currency running Essence Guardians in future leagues.